Okay, today, you guys, we are going to talk about something a little more potentially controversial, something that I didn't think it would be controversial, but I'm thinking it might be, and that is the new Box Tops for Education program. And I got to say, I'm not a fan. Let's just start with that. Not a fan. Karen, are you a fan?
Well, I think there may be a newer iteration that I'm not even aware of. So I was part of like the transition from clipping to digital, and I have thoughts on that, but it sounds like maybe there's another change that's come down the pike as well.
So the new change is that there are going to be QR codes on the products, and so that you will scan it. And I was like, oh, well, that sounds good. But then you also still have to provide your receipt. And that's where I come in. That's where my problem is, and that I personally won't participate, and I won't advocate for other people because I don't know if you know why. I think there's huge privacy implications to giving them your what you're buying.
Yeah,
because they can track that, and I think that is worth far more than a dime. Gonna just say that for each product. So
that was my problem when they went from the clipping the box tops to the receipt scanning. First of all, I thought like the actual interface was clunky, and the amount of time it took. I mean, I'm shopping for a family of 5. None of my receipts were these rinky-dink things, and I'm not going to like separate out my box tops items and then my regular groceries and to scan and like keep track of like 10 different segments of a receipt. I was like, and half the time it didn't go through. I'm like, this is not worth the dime. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it lost a lot of the community building. I hate to say that. I know I'm old and I'm old school, but I liked the physical, like the grandmas that would clip things and send them down the chain. And it was
You're
even
right.
counting was like an event, right? And so it was those parents with their kids at home, like, hey, let's count and bundle these together. Let's check the expiration dates. It was the process and knowing that it was for a good cause as much as the end result of the dime per.
Yeah. You're right, because we had collection boxes at like our community center, and we would go get them. So it was like everybody in the community, well, not everybody, or we would have had a ton, but like people who knew what to do would bring little bags of their box tops. And so, yeah, it is a real shame. So, but no, I heard actually somebody just mentioned at our meeting a couple weeks ago how they were going to try and do it, and I was like, you go for that, I'm not participating. Like, I'd rather just write a check for $20 and maintain my privacy. So
what's the point of adding on a QR code to the product? Because that's going to be visible to everybody, and you have to already like stick it with the receipt. So what added benefit is it to have a QR code on a product?
I'm guessing that it will prompt people to participate and know that it's back, because otherwise you'd have no idea. Like, you would have to know about the Box Tops program to kind of do it the other way. Like, because I don't even think products are marked anymore. I wasn't seeing products being marked. Am I wrong? Because you participated in like 2.0, right? Now this is 3.0. Right. So in 2.0, was there an indication on the box that it was eligible for Box Tops?
There was, and they had like a little graphic instead of like with their little square. It was kind of the square without the info, and it was like scan it or something. They had like a couple of words, and there was some indication, I thought, on most products that were participating, but it wasn't. I mean, you had to do that secondary step. You had to still go in and scan your receipt, and I think, yeah, the privacy stuff is hard. And the logistics of what schools were doing and PTA groups were doing for like rewards, it's really easy to do a class bin. You count them at the end. Well, now you've got parents with multiple kids in multiple schools, and they're like, well, I want to share it equitably, or how do I?
Yeah, that's true. That's a whole other issue. Yeah, you're right. You're right, because I would alternate when I would send them in. I would pick a different kid because we did have class contests. So I think that takes that incentive structure away, or it makes it really difficult, because how do you track? You're right. That like goes away. And I don't know. I also thought it was like changing from a way for companies to thank their customers for buying things into a play for our data, because then they can sell this data to data brokers. Like,
Right.
like if you are getting something for free or you're using a platform for free, then you're the product. And so I don't feel comfortable with that at all. I'm just becoming a little more cognizant of these privacy concerns and like guarding my data. Like I started using hide my email for different things, like when I sign up, so that they're not having my email, because what the data brokers do is that they put all the information together. So they could put every place that I've registered my email with, so signed up for like a free account or whatever, and then they can kind of develop a advertising profile on me. So yeah, I want to make it a little more confusing. Yes.
One
I
time
loved it. I had Facebook thoroughly confused because I was seeing products. Now, this is not an issue I have, so I'll just say. So like the adult diapers, I was getting ads for adult diapers for incontinent women who were like in their 70s were the pictures I was seeing, as well as pregnancy, like pictures for products for pregnancy. They had no idea. They knew I was a woman. That is all they knew. And I was just like, go me. I am thoroughly confusing them.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, so we're not fans.
No. And I think too, we lost that stair step for volunteers as well. Sometimes it's hard to like throw a huge event at somebody. This was such a digestible, easy to conceive project to get people's feet wet, to get them to learn who the other board members and the other volunteers were. Like, it was just a lovely introduction into the whole machine that is PTA, PTO land. And that is gone now too. So
you're right. And also it would build confidence in them to see that they could fit this in and that they did have the skill set to make it happen. So, because that's often the missing piece. Like people think, well, I can't do that. It's like, well, dude, yeah, you can. Like I didn't start off knowing how to do all this stuff. I only know this because I've been doing this for the past 13 years. Like you're going to gain some expertise. You're going to gain some knowledge. So yeah, you're right. That is another loss. So boo to this. Okay. So if you don't agree with us, let us know in the comments. I would love to hear from you about this. And my intention was not to dog on the program. I'm just saying I'm not comfortable with it. I think they need to iterate again and look at a different way, because I just don't. But a lot of companies are going away with their community support like this. A lot of them are. So, and I think it's harder and harder for PTOs to kind of get the funding that they need from corporate sponsorships. Like we had in our elementary school PTO, we had one person who just did corporate promotions. So like they did the Coke rewards, because I think that's still a thing, right? The Coke rewards?
It's changed too. And I think that there is more of like an institutional support, but like parents used to be able to go in and kind of get junkety junk to like, notepads, or there were other corporate sponsors where they could kind of cash those points in for merchandise and things. And that all went away. And then it got really muddled. And I think, again, how hard is it to earn a dime? Like inputting codes, like how many of us went blind, like trying to figure out where the digitized, is that a 0? Is that a O? Like kind of a situation. There wasn't a scan thing. It was all 18-digit input. So yeah, I think that's kind of gone to the wayside. And then our big one that we were starting to really kind of get a little bit more motion with was Amazon Smile program, which is now gone as well. So that was a loss to the groups.
Yeah. I think it's just looking for different ways to replace the funding, because I know at like the height, I don't want to say the height, but I know back in elementary school, so again, it's been a hot minute, we were bringing in like $3,500 a year, which is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
So, and that has all had to been replaced. I don't know what it is now, but I can't imagine it's the same at all. So yeah, that's a shame. Have to look for other ways to replace that funding. So, all right. So I have enjoyed this conversation with you, Karen, and we will be back with another chat for you guys to watch real soon. So stay tuned. Want even more guidance on how to be a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO or PTA?
All these resources and more are waiting for you at ptoanswers.com.